by the Montana Television Network. Montana This Morning continues on Montana's News Leader.
Wildfires have been scorching Northern California for more than a week, but firefighters say they have finally turned a corner in that battle. I'm Seth Lemon in New York with more coming up.
And closer to home, a brush fire flared up near Great Falls yesterday. How the blaze started and what made it especially hard to control, also coming up on this Monday.
It has been a week since those devastating wildfires broke out across Northern California, claiming at least 40 lives. Fire officials say that they finally started to get a handle on some of those pockets of flames.
Now, as a result, some of the residents are being allowed back to survey the damage done to their homes. CBS's Seth Lemon has the latest this morning.
It's been 1 week since massive wildfires started burning their way through Northern California. Fire officials say they believe they've finally turned a corner. Thanks to dying winds and more personnel, they're starting to gain control over some spots.
They're not going down easy, but we are getting them, and we feel a lot better about that.
Officials say 2 of the 3 most destructive fires are now more than half contained.
Oh my God, I can't believe this.
Some residents are finally being allowed to return to their homes. 68-year-old Christina Schott of Napa among those shocked by how little is left.
It was really magical. Everybody loved coming eating outside with all the shrubbery. I hope I can save those oaks.
This local assistance center has been set up in hard-hit Santa Rosa. It's to give residents access to FEMA, utility companies, all sorts of resources that could help many here figure out how to restart from scratch.
There's so much information in there for canceling utilities, rebuilding, DMV, I mean, it's insurance information, property tax.
In another sign of progress, Pacific Gas and Electric Company officials say by later today, they expect to have restored power to all of its customers in the fire zones. Seth Lemon, CBS News.
Now, Seth also tells us the Oakland Raiders pro football team, which trains in Napa during the offseason, held a moment of silence pregame yesterday for those affected by the fires. That organization also announced a $1 million donation for relief and recovery.
So tough.
Unbelievable what they were finding, the absolute destruction that's been going on there.
It's so sad.
Yep.
Hey, looking at our weather pattern right now, our temperature is expected to go up, but you still need those jackets as you head out the door, especially if you live in West Yellowstone. 18 degrees in West this morning, most of us holding into or very close to the freezing mark. Most of us are also dealing with relatively clear skies. We'll see plenty of sunshine this afternoon as temperatures begin to climb into the 60s. We do have a bit of a shift in our weather pattern late this week. We're going to talk more in depth about that coming up on the Billion Auto Weather Patio in just a few minutes.
Our top local story this morning, multiple fire crews responded to a wildland fire Sunday afternoon southwest of Great Falls. Ulm Volunteer Fire Chief Karsten Hovland says the department received the call just after 4 o'clock yesterday. He says the fire, which was burning along Interstate 15 just outside of Ulm, was caused by an old car muffler that had fallen off of a vehicle. The fire charred around 6 acres and threatened 2 homes, coming to within 30 to 40 feet of those houses. Chief Hovland says windy conditions made it difficult for crews to contain the fire. It took firefighters about 45 minutes to bring that blaze under control. A flare-up was spotted in the area later that evening, but firefighters quickly put it out. Fortunately, no injuries were reported.
And the community of Huntley Project is mourning the loss of one of its own. The man killed in a rollover crash on Saturday night has been identified as Kurt Kautz. Kautz was the Huntley Project girls basketball head coach. The district made the announcement of his death on Facebook. The crash occurred on Interstate 94 just outside of Billings. Kautz's flatbed pickup truck was heading east on 94, about 2 miles east of I-90, around 9:20 p.m. And according to the Montana Highway Patrol, he overcorrected and went through the median and then rolled. The pickup came to rest on its roof and then on the shoulder of one of the westbound lanes. It's unknown why Kautz overcorrected, and that crash is still under investigation. Kautz is a Huntley Project graduate. He's also the former football and track coach at Billings Central.
In other news, after a late Bozeman City Commission meeting last week, a hot topic issue was carried over to this week. The Bozeman City Commission will decide if it will participate as a plaintiff in the lawsuit to challenge the constitutionality of Initiative 183, also known as the Montana Locker Room Privacy Act. That bill states that people who have to use the bathroom Now, let me rephrase that. People would have to use the bathroom that matches their sex at birth and not what they identify with. The American Civil Liberties Union of Montana is requesting the city's participation and will also be answering questions about the bill at tonight's meeting. That meeting starts at 6 o'clock in Bozeman City Hall. Now, also in Bozeman City Commission news, the meeting for the vote on the Black Olive apartment proposal will be this Wednesday. Commissioners holding a special session as members did not vote on the proposal last Monday due to the large amount of public comment. Commissioners plan now to vote on the proposal this Wednesday at 6 o'clock. There will also be some time allowed for public comment in case some people did not have the opportunity last week.
And a new grocery store may be coming to Bozeman. Winco Foods has a concept plan with the city of Bozeman. The company says it wants to build a grocery store near Target and Staples. The store would be in addition to the Galavan Shopping Center.
What they're proposing right now is one large building and a couple of smaller kind of satellite buildings like you see up there with the coffee shop and the mattress center that are kind of out along the road.
Winco Foods is based out of Boise, Idaho, and currently has stores in 9 states. This would be the first in Montana.
Also, the Magnus Hotel, also known by many of us as the City Center Hotel, is now gone. But what the plans for its replacement? Well, according to the city of Bozeman, the company that bought the hotel property is Bennett Hospitality. The city says the firm plans to put a new facility in that same place.
The plan is to put another hotel back in its place. We have not gotten to the stage of any drawings or any kind of conceptual numbers or number of rooms or anything like that.
We're also told right now the developer is deciding if it will keep the asphalt or tear that up as well.
And as Congress prepares to draft the next farm bill, Senator Jon Tester has been traveling across the state, hearing from Montanans about their needs. On Saturday, Montana's lone congressional Democrat made Missoula his most recent stop on his farm bill listening tour. While previous sessions focused on food production and agriculture, yesterday took a look at the food assistance programs like the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as SNAP, and WIC, the Women, Infants, and Children's Assistance Program. Panelists and Senator Tester alike expressed their concerns over potential cuts to these programs, including a 50% reduction proposal by President Trump, and possibly a greater cut proposed by the House in the name of cutting waste. Tester disagrees with that proposal.
When you're talking about cutting a program by nearly 50%, that's not cutting waste, that's cutting it to the bone. And so let's look for opportunities to reduce waste. I mean, that means more money gets to the ground and helps people that need it. But let's not throw people off the program when they've done nothing wrong.
Senator Tester urges Montanans to write not only him, but also Senator Daines and Congressman Gianforte about the needs to maintain SNAP and WIC benefits in that farm bill.
In a related story, different agricultural groups from around the state were in Helena this weekend for the Young Ag Leadership Conference. Nearly 100 people signed up for the 3-day experience. MTN's Lindsay Ford was there.
First stop of the Young Ag Leadership Conference was at the Capitol. The conference is for members of the agricultural community that are 40 years or younger in age, whether they are on a farm, ranch, or co-op.
There's fewer and fewer people in agriculture, so I think it's always good to sit down with people from across the state and talk about issues that bother you and that bother them and see where you can work together and help each other out.
Tyrell Obrecht, vice chair of the Young Stock Growers Association here in Montana, said learning about the Capitol and possibilities for agricultural legislation was eye-opening.
I recently quit lending and I moved back to the family ranch and bounce ideas off each other as far as production goes and way to prosper and make more money, as well as ways to influence policy in Helena to make sure that the laws in Montana are helping agriculture instead of hurting them.
Next stop was Tizer Meats to learn about animal processing. Josh, originally from Kansas, moved to Montana recently. He said this conference was great for him to network.
With the way agriculture is working now, there's a generation that's starting to get older and they're starting to get out of it, and I thought that going to this conference is going to be really good, and meeting some of those kids that are starting to grow up and get into various operations across the state.
In Helena, Lindsay Ford, MTN News.
If you'd like to learn more about the weekend's Ag Conference, you can visit us online, KBZK and KXLF.com.
And yesterday was the National White Cane Day. The day aims to educate the world about blindness while promoting equal opportunities for those who are blind or visually impaired. Members from the Montana Blind and Low Vision Council, Montana Association for the Blind, and the National Federation for the Blind in Montana held signs as they walked around the Capitol to raise awareness. The group's message focused on blind or visually impaired people's abilities and achievements. One group member said there's often misconceptions to the public about people who are legally blind.
I am a certified orientation and mobility specialist. Most of the time when we think about blind people, we think about people who are totally blind. And I think that if the sighted public could simply be more aware of that reality, it would be very helpful.
We do have to take a quick break. Coming up in just a few moments, see how a group of people in Bozeman are joining a national effort to clean up our river systems.
But first, let's head to New York and check in with Charlie Rose for a preview of what's coming up at 7 on CBS This Morning.
Good morning. Ahead on CBS This Morning, there is a new 60 Minutes Washington Post investigation. It finds Congress helped disarm the Drug Enforcement Administration in its fight against opioids. We're getting reaction from Capitol Hill and the Justice Department. And we'll talk with a Washington Post reporter who co-authored the report. See you at 7.